The People's Platform.
Good evening and welcome to the show. The right to equality is enshrined in Sri Lanka's constitution. Specifically, all persons are equal before the law and are entitled to the equal protection of the law. But does this equality in practice apply to the LGBTQ community? Let's find out by speaking to our guest tonight, Bhoomi Harendran. She's the Executive Director of the National Transgender Network Trust of Sri Lanka. Good evening and welcome back to the show, Bhoomi.
Good evening.
Good to have you again here with us.
Yes, yes.
Bhoomi, very recently there was a landmark determination by the Supreme Court decriminalizing homosexuality in Sri Lanka. This now needs to get into Parliament. This now needs to be passed. The two penal code provisions which are problematic need to be repealed. Speak to us about the process, because you too were one of the intervenient petitioners in this petition.
Yeah, it came as a private parliament member bill. Mm-hmm. It's one of the way that some sort of laws and policies which can be passed. As I know, I'm not like very much aware person about like specific ways of these procedures, but this also I got to know when this was happening. So Mr. Dolawat contacted me and had a chat about it. So we were not aware about it. So I was suggesting him that you should have a community consultation, because it's about a community. So I mean, like normal, the normal way that I practice, if I do something for you, it's always a must thing to do a consultation with you.
Absolutely.
To understand and recognize what your recommendations, what your requirements are. Mm-hmm. So I was suggesting the same thing to him. So then I think he had like pocket meetings with the community, and he was doing some consultation with the communities, and there was some sort of a break because the bill was on the Justice Minister's table. So I don't know, but it's going to be debated in the Parliament very soon, if I'm not mistaken.
There's also a transgender protection bill that has been drafted collaboratively. You are also a part of these discussions, these consultations. Speak to us about the key aspects that it talks about.
So before I step into that, I'll give you a small flashback why we wanted to have it. So in 2017, I got an opportunity to participate in ILGA Asia Conference,
right,
which is a specific conference focusing on gays, lesbians, bisexuals and transgenders, entire queer communities' rights and protection. So during that conference, I met a bunch of friends from Pakistan and India. So they were kept saying about bill. First of all, I thought it's sort of a bill that we are paying, right? Mm-hmm. So I was asking like, okay, just tell me about this bill. First, they came to me and said, they were asking like, why don't you have this kind of a bill in Sri Lanka? I was like, what kind of a bill? Just explain me. So they explained it about, so the protection bill will cover fundamental rights. I mean, like it will be a sort of a savior of transgender community, because the protection bill focusing on each and every aspects of a trans person's life, such as education, right to access for health services, right to have a family, right to have an occupation, right to have a life which free of violations, had to have a marriage life, right to have a land or property, inheritance. So this protection bill covers those kind of like all around areas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The LGBTQ community in Sri Lanka requires rights advancement, given the fact that through the decades we've had the LGBTQ community being marginalized.
Yes.
What are some of the major challenges that the community has faced, Bhoomi? Speak to us about this so that we can also look towards solutions.
So I can take some example from the court, the arguments which had in the court, like child, if we get this law passed, child abuses will be increased. If this law passed, so the HIV prevalence will be high.
These are the myths surrounding.
Yes. Right. So I mean, like, I was sitting there and I felt in a way very uncomfortable, because this kind of a stupid questions which I can answer, right?
Yeah, they're not rooted in scientific.
Not at all,
yeah.
Because in Sri Lanka, if you look at the child protection laws, which we have currently right now in Sri Lanka, are very strong. The problem is they are not implementing in proper ways. Because if you case a file against a child abuse, it'll take like years and years to come to judgment. So by that time that child will be like 20 years or 21 years, which they don't want to continue the case. So we have like very strong child protection laws in Sri Lanka, and increasement of the HIV prevalence. It's really stupid argument, because like when you have sort of proper testing procedures, testing mechanisms in Sri Lanka or in wherever country, so obviously the new cases which you are finding will be increased, right? And it's not about like all LGBT people will engage in sexual activities 24 hours plus 365 days. We have other jobs as well to do. So it's one of the arguments coming around the culture as well. What I have seen and what I have learned from my school, my elders, my teachers, we had very rich culture, which people have no business in others' personal lives, right? They respected each other despite your sexual orientation, gender identity. We were very strong. We were very very sort of a friendly nation, which helped each other to grow up, right? If we look back to our history, we fought together, right? When we are fighting, we didn't look at people's sexual orientations, which were funny. So I mean, like, it's very basic. We are talking about the diversity. We are accepting the diversity of nature. We are accepting the diversity of people's caste, skin colors, thinking patterns, trees, birds, whatever. But when it's come to sexual orientation and gender identities, that diversity we are not ready to accept. We are not ready to, or we are not open enough to understand that there's a diversity in each and every area or each and every platform. So these are the main challenges, and I think it all comes because of we don't have proper education system, and it's lack of knowledge and informations.
Absolutely. Bhoomi, I'm glad you raised the point about education. I want to talk about the importance of our school syllabuses also being inclusive and not exclusionary. Non-discrimination is one of the principles on which the Constitution is rooted in. However, in real life, we don't see this, and children aren't taught these values, these principles, where dignity should be the cornerstone of education.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory is good, there were like a sort of a trial intervention to put comprehensive sex education into the syllabus. So like when it's come to sex, it's a huge taboo that we don't like to talk about in the society, which is not good. It's which is not healthy for the society, because when people hearing the word of sex, they think about the act. So comprehensive sex education was about how a child can protect their bodies, how a child respect the other person, how to respect your relationships, how to protect your body, how to treat your body, what are the diversities that we have around our society, around our nature. So it was like a very broader topic. Sexuality is a broader topic. People think when it's come to sexuality, it's all about acting, which is like, I don't know where it is coming from. So sexuality is a person's, I mean, our lives 99% representing sexuality, because the way you dress, the way you express, the way you feel, it's part of the sexuality. So it's huge, it's playing a huge role in your life. So kids should be, having this knowledge and information, this part.
We've somehow as a society demonized this.
Maybe because of the desperation, I guess. That's the truth, no? Like, people don't like to see someone else staying happy. People don't like to see someone else having a sort of a happy life, a free life. That's what I call desperation, like I can't bear your happiness. I'm just jealous. If you are getting something new to your life, sort of in sake of freedom, I will like try to destroy it. I like to see you suffer. That's the entire society sort of acting right now. So what kind of a problem that people have, like two guys living together? That's not disturbing my life. That's not disturbing my my day-to-day life routine. It's not, I don't know how about others, but it's not destroying my mental peace. I can sleep, I can eat. I have no business with someone else's personal life. Why people have to give a huge attention and huge sort of, I don't know, like value into your sex life, someone's private life. I don't have any business with someone's partner. I don't have any problem with your personal life. I should respect you as a human being. I should pay attention how much productive you are to the society, not your personal life. Because you are not depending on me. Even though if you are depending on me, I have no right to control your life. So it's all about this stupid desperation, I believe.
All right. On that note, we go in for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
The People's Platform.
A bad decision is like throwing a stone into a pond. You can never fully undo the ripples it creates.
Still, they are trying to postpone the election because that's why they have appointed the Presidential Commission to oversee the matters of electoral reforms.
For you to deliberately keep churning out gazettes, and if they turn out to be bad decisions which has an impact on the economy or the fiscal economy or the people, you're abusing and misusing that power that is entrusted upon you.
Ministers, the government, politicians who govern this country, they do what they want.
And if you just look at how parliamentarian acting, they openly criticize violating the parliamentary procedures and traditions and conventions.
Face the Nation, Wednesday nights at 9:30 on TV1.
Core problem, that is this economic bankruptcy and the debt problem, is still not solved.
The general public wanted some sort of relief from this budget, Mr. Balasurya.
If prices increase and if the government can't give any relief, the people will get priced out of their existence.
Problems are very complex, and you need more than a person. And just looking at one individual and thinking that one individual can transform the country, I think we have to get out of that kind of idea.
Sri Lanka is now bankrupt. Professor, people are very angry, Professor.
Governments or the political representatives should maintain the public trust.
Face to Face, Newsfirst political talk show, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. on TV1.
inflation, exchange rates, and the rise and fall of the stock market. Bringing you insights into the business world. Watch the Business Buzz every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. on TV1.
Sri Lanka and official creditor committee deal covers $5.9 billion of public debt. President heads to Dubai to attend UN climate change conference. Deshabandhu Tennakon assumes duties as the acting police chief. 2 armed men commit multiple crimes in Panadura and Bandaragama within an hour. More than half of Sri Lanka believes local political forces were involved in Easter attacks. Anti-corruption law can impose a 10-year prison term if corruption is found within Sri Lanka cricket, says new sports minister.
The People's Platform.
Welcome back. We are in conversation with transgender rights activist Bhoomi Harendran. Bhoomi, let's talk about occupational dignity of persons from the LGBTQ community. Is there discrimination that takes place? How bad is it, if so?
Very obvious. So these days, specifically, the most prominent request that we get as an organization is a job opportunity. It's common for the LGBT community, but specifically trans community faces a huge problem to find a job opportunity. Right. Because, as I said, sometimes when you expose or discover your sexual orientation or maybe the gender identity, the workplace will be the first place that you can have, because people will start judge you, hurt you mostly verbally, and sometimes physically as well, with your sexual orientation and gender identity. So I'm still wondering why people have to give sort of a huge attention to that, because no banker do their jobs with a penis or a vagina. It needs skills, capacity and hard work. That's what all requires, I guess. So there were kicking off from the offices and workplaces, and the other problem which rising up is the washroom issue. A trans person going to a washroom and not everyone, few people getting so much excited about it, and complaining It is funny to me, but
it is a serious issue.
Yes. We were having a discussion with trade unions.
Okay.
How we can get engaged and solve the problem together.
Okay.
As a result of that discussions, we got an opportunity to establish a trade union specifically for the sexual minority community. It calls National Union for Transgenders and Queer Workers.
Okay.
And this is happening first time in Asia. I think it's the second one in the world. So we are, in that way, we are very honored, and in that way we are very progressive, because we got an opportunity to talk to Honorable Minister Manushana Naikara in related to establishing the trade union. So he was so happy to support us, and the discussion was very productive.
Okay.
And as a result of that discussion, he actually appointed a separate counter for trans people to come and get the services without staying in the queue.
Right.
So that was like small step. But through the trade union, what we are planning to do is to have a sensitizing workshops and maybe like management level discussions, HR level discussions in corporate sectors. Maybe if we are lucky enough, we will get opportunity to talk in government sectors as well, have discussions in government sectors as well, and to review their policies and make it more gender inclusive and more human inclusive policies. And so that will lead to sort of a platform which we can create a safe space for the community members in the work world.
Right. There is, Bhoomi, an information deficit, a knowledge deficit. So we need to familiarize ourselves, and it's incumbent upon ourselves to educate ourselves about the rights of others. For example, if I'm a non-Muslim, I need to still know what does the Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act do? What are its weaknesses? Should I be an ally? Should I be an advocate for their rights? That has to be there. And as citizens, we need to stay updated, not just about our own rights, but about the rights of others as well. Similarly, why I say there's an information deficit is sometimes people just aren't aware. They just don't know. What are the issues faced by the trans community, by the LGBTQ community? People just don't know. So how do we bridge this gap?
It's a two-way process. Most of we have few organizations in Sri Lanka, and they are actively working on these issues. But the issue is, Sonali, like the platforms that we get to talk about this, the opportunities that we are getting to talk about it. Earlier, like it's almost 13 years for my activism life. I started in 2010, now it's 2023. So all these years, most of the times that we get to talk about this to government authorities, maybe corporate sectors, through HIV prevention project as a key affected population. It's another level of labelization, right? Which I don't like. I believe labels are for tables, furnitures, clothes, not for humans, right? So I felt a bit uncomfortable to go to that platform and talk about it, but I couldn't miss it because that was the only platform that I got to talk about. Slowly with the media appearance that I had and platforms that I was representing, I got like more opportunities to talk about it. So it was about like your willingness to open the doors for us to come and talk about it. So I think like that was the first time that we got an opportunity to talk with the Labor Department Minister. And very recently we got an opportunity to talk about the head of police department. That was the first time in my all these 13 years. Right? So like, I don't know, sometimes it's becoming sort of a trend when it's come to sort of an international pressure. Our governments start talking about it. When it's go away, the trend is like fading away. So our lives became sort of a trendy marketing point for some people, right? To make funds or raise funds or make money, which is like pathetic as I see. So and sometimes when we are talking about this, we have sort of these issues, we have these issues, we have that issues. This is not the correct time to talk about it. When we should talk about it, whenever we are talking about these matters about our rights, our life values, people always trying to keep our mouth shut. This is not the correct time, this is not the correct time. So when even I was waiting, okay, when is the correct time is coming? So I stopped thinking like that and I gave up on this. I said like, no, this is the correct time to talk about it. When it's come to the economical crisis, we were starting talking about this. People said, no, we are in hunger. This is not an important thing. Yes, it is important because if you're not listening to us, we will be like excluded you know, from the community, and you know, you have no idea what kind of situations that we are going through, without a job, without a proper place to stay, facing violations. What kind of a life that they're expecting us to live?
Bhoomi, my final question, what is the way forward in terms of rights advancement? Speak to us about the mental health aspect. How should parents educate themselves, teachers educate themselves, workplaces educate themselves?
I think it should start from the education, as you said, schools, training schools, teachers training schools, and all of the government service providing officials training schools need to be aware of this. They have to include about the diversity. I'm not specifically saying about LGBT community, because like when it's come to disabled community, they also facing like huge discriminations, because like whoever are different, they will get discriminated. People always willing to see the same set of people that they see through their lenses, which is not true, which is not a healthy thing, right? So all policies and laws that we have right now, it's need to be reviewed and changed accordingly, which is protecting and including all humans, all citizens, despite of their gender, their sexuality, gender identities, skin color, religion, etc., etc. It will go on and on and on. So, and especially, let's keep the law aside. As a humans, we need to stop spreading hate. Let's say if I'm donating my eyes, it will go to a man or a woman. My eyes don't, you know, carry the flag that this is a trans person's eyes. So you're not, you know, going to have a look or research or background study that whose eyes are coming to me when you're having it, when you're getting it. So stop labelizing people. Respect the humanity. Don't look at my in between my legs. Just look at how productive I am to the society, what I can do for the society, and how I treat people. Spread the love. We have a lot of haters in this world, and we have a huge vacancy of people who are spreading love and humanity. It's a huge vacancy, right? So we need to fill that vacancy. Otherwise, like we will lose the quality of calling ourselves humans. So let's be humans. We all are dying, but go like from this world as a sweet memory by treating people with love and respect. So that's the way I think we can change the world.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Bhoomi Harendran.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Professor Siri Hettige will be joining us to discuss the accelerating of economic growth. Thank you for joining us. Good night.